started, and all
How many
these
women
women,
do you have?
3,000 women directly and indirectly we support. So they have learned everything now. I mean, yeah. So it's been an amazing journey.
Okay, these guys are the perfect bootstrap model. They've not raised any money and they've built it all on their own. So there is life without VCs also. We are living in a VC world, but that we'll get to it. Over to you, Vibha. In your case, right, you just started recently and you're 2 generations away from her. So I want to know what is Cosmix all about and why is it a youthful brand and why should they get into superfoods and beauty?
Okay, so so I started Cosmix 2 years ago. It basically started out of my own need for something for my health. So I had PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I had learned a lot about how good food can just be the answer many times. Powerful foods exist, and coming from a family that also had knowledge of homeopathy, it kind of gave me that whole insight into holistic living. And I just, decided to kind of be able to give this solution to more and more people. And so that's essentially where Cosmix was born out of. Another thing is that I saw while growing up, so much of beauty is always focused on just what's on the outside. And I think it was very, very important for so many young people, especially in a time of like a lot of insecurity with your body and growing up. Many times, many brands can just kind of push something on you. Could be like oh, acne fix overnight, one day fix. But at Cosmix, we wanted to change things and make sure that it's focused a lot more on health than aesthetics, and focused a lot more on helping educate someone rather than making a hard sell on a product. And I think that's what people are also like. Now we identify that that's also just how I wanted a solution like that. We see so many other people who want a solution, and I see that. So it's been 2 years, but the one amazing thing is that we have like a 50% return rate of customers month on month, which is really, really nice because that's how many people trust us and want to continue with the product. There are people who just been with us who just continue having the product every single day for 2 years now. So it's so nice to see that. And then, when we ask them why, they really come back and say, you're not hard selling and that's why we love it. And we feel like that's such a young thing to do. So I think as we're seeing such a big shift in the beauty and like food space where the less really like pushing and trying to make false claims that you do, the more people are open to it.
Okay. We have 2 different business models here, right? One is retail, manufacturing, retail, and D2C now.
Yes.
Right? In your case, it's manufacturing and straight to consumer.
Yeah.
How easy is it to scale in today's world? Thanks to technology, thanks to social commerce. Is that the model that you want to employ? I'll come back to Rashmi and figure out why retail works. I still think 90% of India likes to go retail. But in your case, why did you scale up your product faster now compared to say their generation?
I think today what we're all looking for is I think a community of people who are like-minded. I feel like this itself in the room is a group of people who are like-minded, and I feel like in a retail space that's hard to come by. Like in a shopper's stop today, it doesn't really have a personality, and you can see that how it was doing 10 years ago is not the same as how it's doing today. So just being available in the physical, I'm not saying of course they won't make money, but just if I think building that personality out is very important. And the best way to do that without investment is online, because that's your storefront, right? Your website is your storefront. You don't really need a big building, an investment, burning your money, and especially someone like myself who didn't have a lot in savings. It was much easier to just get started, test a model, and I'm always excited to even go and do retail at some point in time, or at least have some retail presence at some point in time. But at least now I know it's a working model. There are people who've already built audiences today, and all you have to do is kind of tap into that audience, coconut sugar, and they start a giveaway audience. And what they get is like why they're spending money doing it with us. What they get in return is the exposure that our brand page can give them. So like this, and they've tested their product now, and it's great. Like they're gonna get to test their product in a week with an audience of 50,000 people, and that's it. Right? Like they now know what works and what doesn't. Week now, 100 people have that product and give them feedback on it. So it's great, right? So I feel like that's the beauty of it, and that's what they should do by just tapping into the digital space.
You're saying you can choose 1 million customers and only serve them
Yeah,
and make that your community.
absolutely.
You can do that.
100%.
How many people shop online? Go for it. That's fine. This makes us feel old, Rashmi.
We take a guidance for it.
But we've still built a $10 million business. Let's get that. Right? Okay. Let's get to that. You are 40 stores at this point. You just started 38, pardon me. You just started D2C. Yeah, so you had it for a while. Let's talk about how you build your business. The stores, if you're running a store, we get the rental model that you will get into later. So the stores, you have to handle rental, people, stock, inventory turn, and all that. Do you want to talk about if these people do D2C and if they want to do inventory? And how do you wrap this around? How do you manage it? In the early days, you never had ERPs, nothing. How did you handle 10,000 SKUs?
We started off. We started off with, and we had exposure to all these. We worked when we were overseas. We worked in both my husband and I. We worked in retail, wholesale, manufacturing. So we were exposed to ERP. We just didn't start off and then build it later. We always had the ERP for the storefront and the manufacturing as well. So I think
you invested in processes from day one.
We did. And although they weren't the social media or other technologies available, but the basic thing, the ERP was very much in place, and we started off on the right footing. So everything was it just didn't grow randomly. It was planned kind of growth. And I think in our case, the touch and feel is very important in an art and craft space. So from day one, we realized that we started off quite, sort of compare. So, no, nothing. And we didn't need loans at that point in time. But I think with growth, you always get cash tight and you need, funds for your growth. But then, we started and started educating people. We had a lot of workshops. I think we did a lot of training. We went to apartments, we went to schools. So it was all kind of a grassroots level marketing that time. So no social media, but we used to talk to every single person that came. Everywhere we went and did workshops. So Harish and I did scrapbooking workshops, and it was great. And then, so 2004 we started manufacturing. 2007 we saw a need that India didn't have a one-stop shop. When we went looking for kids doing school projects, I couldn't find a one-stop shop that would sell all art and craft supplies. So we saw, yes, there is an opportunity. That's when we started, and we felt, and people loved it. I think engagement is something that we can give in our space. No other business can give that kind of engagement. So
can you get online better?
In some sense.
Okay, we talk about it.
So I think the engagement and experience that we can give in the store is something fantastic. We have demo sessions, free live sessions. Of course, we do have it on our online space as well. But I think it works great for us. So we are also planning to go into an omni-channel mode where we have 3 stores in Delhi. We have 3 in Mumbai, where we are thinking 1 store can work as a feeder center, which can sort of quickly give the orders to the customers, online orders. So it will act as a physical store and also as an online store, but that's down the line. But right now, everything is being done centrally from our Bangalore warehouse, where we have both the online and offline warehouse. So,
Now, coming out of technology, right? critical part is we got the marketing bit, and guys, think about the marketing questions as well. We will get it answered for you. I want to get into technology. How important we spoke about for me, the word ERP, CRM is slowly dying because it's all about the dynamic data capture, and like you said, you're going to an omni-channel world. And for that, you need investments in data scientists, perhaps. You don't want to always depend on Google for everything, right? You want to do your own science around how you want to go after customers. I know you have a great design team, and I want you to talk about how you're integrating design, data, and capturing the customer. Say in a couple of years down the line, will data be very important? Will you invest in a technology team? Is that part of your vision?
I think, right now we are using all the things that you said, ERP, CRM. I think that is very, very important. Without technology, you cannot capture data. So that is for the kind of amount of, to market, you need the data. And to capture the data, you need the technology, which is what we are currently doing. I think the way we are going, I think we can still grow organically, although now and then you are a bit cash crunch. But I think as we scale further, as we reach out to more and more people, we are now doing all the things that collaborating, whatever Vibha was just mentioning. I think we are growing that way with digital marketing. A lot more things at our disposal than what we ever had when we started. I think with all that, right now, I think we are okay the way we are going, but we are not ruling out any, going for investment or anything. But right now, we think, yeah.
How important is technology to you? I mean, I get where they are because they are on the physical side and the e-commerce side. For you being a digital first brand, a technology investment is necessary. Technology is just a body and tool you have to implement. Eventually, when you scale, right, data becomes important. Data scientists become important. When you say that is commoditized. Because they're all engineers. They perhaps want to build stuff for you. They're all your hires also at some point.
I'm an engineer too, by the way.
And she's from RP.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Give her a chance, ladies and gentlemen. Come on.
It's
your potential employer.
So as of today, I feel like already, when we think of tech, just 3-4 years ago, I was so excited about Google Ads, and I was like, oh my god, I've been on it, and there's a course on it, and it's already old. Like it's genuinely old. I mean, for those of you who are starting out your businesses now, like relying on Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Instagram Ads, not the same as it was. I think.
How many people are businesses here? There are quite a few. There's one small hands up there, but there is some here. So, do you guys rely on Google Ads a lot?
Yeah, 100%, yes. But what I'm saying is, slowly that too will become difficult to compete in. And like we have to move on to things that will still separate. Just a product differentiation will no longer work, but more of a service, and specifically a tech service will make a difference, even in things like food, makeup. And like why I say this is, if you're like looking to buy makeup today, one of the reasons Nykaa became so successful at one point is because we would go to Nykaa to look for shade colors to match our skin color. And that's tech, right? And that's a difference. So like you can go to the retail store, yes, but how do you create that? How do you mimic a retail store online? You have to find some scalable way to offer some service that another person can offer. Because we're out of the world of my product is better than your product. Like that era is over. Now it's all about my service. My service is better compared to your service, but our products are kind of the same.
But do your customers give you that data saying that we need these kind of products?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very, very, very close. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very, very, very closely related to our customers. We're talking to them every day. Like I would say, if I had a retail store, there's no way I'd physically be there. But because like I'm in an online space, I'm talking to them every minute. Like there is someone from our team 24/7 24/7 speaking to our customers. Just yesterday we did a survey and we asked people to answer some questions about the products we want to build in the future. And we got around 1,400 responses to a long Google form within like 10 minutes. And we were able to derive so many answers from that about what products we have to build into the future. And like that's so simple, it's Google Forms, but it's tech, right? And it's helping us in some way. But what I'm trying to say is also as we scale, there'll be different types of things we'll have to do, like probably a doctor that's smart enough to figure out, what superfood you require for your body type and be able to cater to that.
You want to build that there?
We'll have to build that eventually, yes. I feel like, as I said, product will only go so far today, I believe.
Oh, this is fascinating.
I'm going to subscribe to that because I definitely need superfoods, especially as we get older, we need that. The basic question now is, how do you then, Rashmi, look at manufacturing and say, what is the future of manufacturing in our country? We all say make in India, made in India is a big thing, but when I look at all these mobile phones, it's always assemble in India, not make in India. So I want your thoughts on what really make in India is. If you could tell them, I know you support 3,000 women, handmade products. How much of that IP is yours? And how should one go about and say, we are proud of software from India for the world. Can we say manufacturing from India for the world? Can we say the same?
Yeah, I think it's more relevant today than ever before. So when COVID hit us, we used to get quite a few things from China. The ones we manufacture a lot of things ourselves, but then there are, as a business, we had to provide a complete solution to anybody who visits the stores. So now we have started manufacturing all those things ourselves. So we are soon setting up machinery to manufacture those things. And when you manufacture, your margins are much better as any business. Your own brand, your own label, you can get much better margins than what you import. So I think being self-reliant is definitely better. The cost really shot up. If you're importing, there's been a serious issue. So I think for us, manufacturing it ourselves has been a great thing.
You manufacture 75% of the product locally.
So we used to do like 60%. Now the share is going up. It's like
Guys, even the slates that young people get in kindergarten are from China today. It's like China.
So but we have done it. So we have done all blackboards ourselves. We are getting into canvas manufacturing. We are getting into notebook manufacturing. We're getting into manufacturing a lot of things ourselves. So it is possible. It is possible to do things yourself.
Okay, break the myth. Can these kids work in mechanical, electronic background, invest in manufacturing at this point in time on their own, or I want that dynamic. And things changed in 2014 now. I know at the early stage of your career, you went and borrowed funds, and today they're in a VC world. The VCs will not fund manufacturing. That's a clear thing. How should they go about it?
So
if they're an SME, if they want to get into the world of SMEs, how should they come on?
So whether they need to get into manufacturing depends on the kind of industry they want to get in. Really,
how many of you want to get into manufacturing?
Ooh.
That's like 1, 2, 5.
Yeah.
So mine,
Yeah.
It's China. All hail China.
So it depends on the industry you
But
want
it's
to.
good for you. All of the engineers come work for you, software and data and all that.
Oh, we can also hire you. So it definitely depends on the kind of industry you want to be in. But for us, I think it's completely under our control, and we can bring the products cheaper to the consumer. We control the entire spectrum of, the supply chain. So for us, it's great. Being vertically integrated is our IP, I would say.
Great.
Yeah.
I want to talk about product design and development. I know both of you do it in-house. In your case, the superfoods, do you have doctors, a team of doctors who look at it, even the beauty products? Are they consultants? Are they full-time? How do you test the product out? Again, it's adding to the market research. Is it FDA approved in many cases? Are you looking for approval, certifications? What type of foods are these? If you could tell us about that. And why design teams are important is also something important. Design teams are important is also something important.
Yeah, design also. Product design.
Like that. Okay. So yeah.
So you wanted to ingredient design.
Okay. Got it. So I'm also very much of the opinion that holding your manufacturing or actually holding your team very close to you is very important. I feel like, again, we're in a world with a lot of freelancers, a lot of consultants, but I try to keep my team very, very close. That includes manufacturing. I think, again, Rashmi said, I think it's like, you said it's vertically integrated and that's the IP. And I think.
You want to explain what vertically integrated?
Do you want?
So
It always goes back to experience, so we're not that old.
So we do everything from start to finish. We do everything from ideation, the storyboard, designing that particular thing. Then we do a mock-up, hands-on thing happens there. Then manufacturing happens there. Manufacturing, sourcing, then supply chain is controlled by us. Then it goes to our stores. So we are in control of everything along the supply chain completely from start to finish. So which I think gives us great control, and it's a lot faster because we cater to the customer's demands. So unlike some other company, we can quickly, we know there is a demand for something. We quickly go back to the teams, we forecast what is needed, and we scale up our production. So it's very good to have that kind of control.
Brand design, you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, but before that, I just want to add to that. I've seen this in like real, and it is so fast. Like they're so fast. I would take like 1 week to do what they do in half a day. Because my teams all across India, I have a work from home team that has aramse timings, very, very, very millennial. Everyone's
Everyone's working from home.
yeah, everyone's working from home at flexible work hours and period leaves and everything. So it's like that, and it's very different. I think it's like although everyone's still working, like I still don't work with freelancers and consultants because then it's like 10 times slower. Still, I feel like they have a team in house and
So, yeah, but what important brand design do you got? You work freelance?
I did initially, but I like to keep them like kind of. Yeah, I want to employ them. And design is very important to Cosmix. It's like very, very important, I would say, because
They say D2C brands are more about storytelling.
100%.
And how important is storytelling?
Oh, so important.
Blogs, you invest in blogs?
No, not anymore.
You invest.
Video content, huge. We produce 2 videos a day as of now, but we are a team of 4 girls. So it's like, but that's the speed. Like along with building the website and along with building, like our Instagram, but like videos is at the core of everything. Like we're just 24/7 investing in, and my team itself, we're the content creators and we do the rest of the business.
Okay.
Super important.
Influencer marketing or brand ambassador? Celebrity brand ambassador.
Neither anymore. Because I feel like it's
That's too many fake followers.
too much digital engagement, and nobody cares about.
There's no ROI.
Yeah, I mean, like, so I would still say it works great for someone like Itsy because, like, you'd love to see a paper flower and decide you want to buy a paper flower, but I don't think you any longer trust, Kareena Kapoor to tell you about which moisturizer to use.
I don't know. I don't think they follow Kareena Kapoor. I think some other person now.
Whoever. I don't think we trust any of them with respect to, what shampoo to use.
Yeah, that's
And
true. So you're saying influencer marketing?
That's not for
limited.
me.
Just
yeah,
not for
I
you.
mean, it has. I wouldn't rule it out completely. And I think there's still a large sector that still does take recommendations of people, but it's doing well.
Just some data points on the D2C business and the retail business. There are only 600 to 700 homegrown brands. So that's expected to go to 6,000 brands by 2025. And currently it's only a $10 billion market. It is going to become $100 billion by 2025. So that's the opportunity she's after. And the funny thing is, if you want to read this and where I'm quoting this from, it's the Vendors Capital report on the D2C business. You can Google it and download that. And retail is a $1 trillion business in India, right? I think that's an enormous opportunity still waiting to grow. What's the future customer for you? What's your customer? We already know they're right in front of us, right? Do you see these people getting older and bringing their kids to your stores? Is that the vision?
I think people of all ages come to Itsy. They grow up with Itsy. They come when they're young, and when they are really like teenagers or whatever, they come, they do some scrapbook or some card for their friend. And when they are a little older, when they get into professional space, they want to get de-stressed. They come then, and then they could be bringing their kids. So I think, we have seen now people across all ages coming to Itsy.
You owe me that class on my guitar.
I do.
Yeah, so and you should come. You're a guitarist, aren't you? So you can emboss your guitar. They've got tools where you can emboss your guitar. It's like vanillin guitar. So yeah, so it's like, okay.
Especially the workshop.
We will. And I have a difficult. Now getting to the difficult questions of VC funding. In the past, you've been approached by private equity, big monies, but you've said no to them. How important is it for you? Is something to keep in your mind. But I'm going to start with you because a lot of people have reached out to you. In fact, one unicorn saying that they want to work with you, but they want to own 51% of your company. But that's very sinful. Guys, remember, if you're starting up, don't dilute money in your company. Be 100% owners unless they invest strategically. Don't dilute, not more than 2%, okay, if they're angel investors. So I want to talk to you about why this unicorn made such an offer, the ridiculous offer, but how do you advise them to run their company with 100% ownership? And you can take it from there, okay?
It is a difficult question.
Go for it. They are the future.
I think I'm just from my own personal space. I think it's very. I think today we're in the game of grow a business, sell it fast, and get out, make money for your investors, and
the key word: make money for investors, not for the founders. Remember, guys, make money for yourself, not investors.
We're in that game, and I think the first question any investor also asks us is, how excited are you about selling your business? And I mean, fair enough, I'm not saying it's wrong too, but I think, and we were talking about this inside as well, it takes time. It takes so much time to build a good product. It takes so much time to get your branding right, to get your story right, to be able to connect with people and make a real difference in their lives. And I don't think that just trying to run behind that exit is the right thing to do. And I feel like I'm at a space right now where I don't want to be influenced into influenced into kind of changing the ethics of the brand itself. And like I said, we're not a hard sell company, and that's like kind of the opposite of what an investor wants.
It's the same question I will ask. You run a media company, how many million impressions do you do?
Yeah.
So stupid. It's not one minute. I get what you want.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like I feel like I don't want to dilute the value that it brings, and I don't want someone to come in and say, just reduce the quality of the ingredients a little bit so that your prices go down, and so you're making more profits. So I can take 50% of that profit, and you can take 50%. So I feel like that's what I really don't want. So I feel like I'm not against investors or investment or money or anything like that. I feel like it's wonderful if you find the right partner. I think you just have to find the right partner.
Well said. In your case, you've not raised any money, and you're not going to raise any money. You're going to do it yourself. I know that. Go for it.
DIY, we are doing the DIY.
Yeah, do it yourself.
So yes, we have been approached by investors. There was one social impact fund as well, which kind of excited us. We thought, oh, yeah, great, these people do care about, we run an orphanage as well. We support a child rescue agency. So we thought, yeah, these guys were really interested, but that's never the case. So
That's the carrot, right? When they come in and they just care.
That's it.
Money.
That's it. So I think we're quite happy in this space. We are the kind of growth. I think this organic growth is better. So you know when to scale, how to scale, and when you don't have money, you negotiate better. So we are not just throwing away money. which is what happens to most of the businesses that get, investment. So after first round, gone. I mean, how many we keep getting so many people? I mean, we're looking for people. We keep interviewing them. How many people come from startups and they say after first round they haven't got any investment at their place. So I think that's as she rightly said, it's like a game now. It seriously is a game. Everybody just wants to get in. They just want to start something, get some money quickly into the business, get out. It just doesn't work that way. And we don't hear. I mean, we only hear a few success stories, right? Only the successful ones you hear about. How many people have closed? How many people? It doesn't work for how many? We don't know that. We never hear about those.
There's ours to say we never bring it.
Yeah.
Media
So-
doesn't tell you.
Yeah. So if any, we are not close to investments or anything. If anything, we would like a strategic partner who can add value to what we are doing. If they can bring in, people from our industry, they can offer any kind of help, the support in the industry. We don't mind that, but it's not just an investment for the sake of it.
Investors are important. If they're strategic, they'll guide you on your technology. They'll guide you, like she said, you will not compromise on the ethics and quality of the product, right? Which means, in your case, no bugs in the product. They'll not just let you scale. They'll make you fix the product and then win business, and they'll guide you towards sales.
Yeah.
Good investors do that. But the bad investors will say, give me 10% return month on month, which will mean in her case, she has to sack all the 3,000 women.
Okay, exactly.
And I've been to their factories, and these are women who've been lifted out of poverty, right? Okay, so guys, I'm going to open it up to questions, right? Enough about us. By the way, I'm Vishal, the founder of the UpstreamLife.com. Check out my podcast on Spotify, it's the Upstream Life there. Thank you very much. So, okay, open it up to questions, guys. Come on, who's going to move the mic around? And please ask questions. The show is about you. And I want you to ask good questions, bad questions, stupid questions, don't matter. Just ask. Shreepal, you want to move the mic around, Arjun?
You did great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Testing.
Who's going to go first? If you can stand up and introduce your name and
Hello, ma'am. I think that was a really good session. That's a really good session. I really enjoyed it. I'm Sai Vijay. I'm actually currently pursuing my sixth semester here, studying CSE. And you shifted from a B2C market to a D2C market, right? How hard is it, and what are the challenges you face while you're shifting from a B2C to a D2C market?
You want to bring it back? You got to be loud.
Yeah, so I can talk to you. Yeah. So B2C to B2C, and we actually started pretty early. The shift happened quite early, but then the D2C was not big when we started. So the difference would be focusing more on technology. I think technology becomes very, very important when you go to D2C. But otherwise, it's touch and feel. When it was brick and mortar store, it's all word of mouth, that kind of marketing, which people used to come from different places to come and see the store, from different cities. So that was a different thing. But now the shift is more focused on technology. And I think it is kind of seamless. If you're going to do omni-channel and all that, it becomes seamless. So it's not really very difficult. It's not very
so it was an easy transition. You have to
Absolutely.
hire a lot of people.
Not really. It is just a shared resources. I mean, the warehouse is already there. So we had everything in place. We just had to have, the guys for the e-commerce.
You just have to plug in.
That's it.
Hope it answers your question. Yes.
And we are now on marketplaces too. So yeah, we're going to soon have a software like Unicommerce or something which will bring everything together
As a platform.
as a platform. So yeah, I mean, if you have something that can integrate everything together, that's great.
So perhaps
It's
the
not
question would
difficult.
also be, can you build this enough? You want to build it enough?
Which one?
This platform?
No, we are not in technology business. I wish we were.
You'd rather take tools from outside.
All
Would
technology
you like
is
to work with startups? Somebody that's building something cutting edge in retail?
possibly.
Possible.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and we need to scale scale up, we need to embrace more and more technology. That becomes important.
Next question. Right, okay, right here. Then Shashank.
Generally, I have noticed that in retail,
Your name?
sorry, I'm Parag from 6MC. Generally, I have noticed that in retail space, you need to keep a lot of buffer cash because you can negative manage the losses. And then once you have already gone down the slope, it's very difficult to get back. So, have you faced such challenges and what have you done to overcome that?
Inventory management. Inventory turns.
Yeah, I mean, I think it happens all the time. It's a different brick and mortar is a different retail is a different ball game altogether. It's more challenging than online or an e-commerce business. But I think that is when I mean it's a very dynamic thing. So you will just have to keep clearing the stocks if the inventory goes up. So we have our sale, our clearances going on. So it's you've got to be very dynamic in managing this whole thing. And it happens. It does happen in retail.
You know, a lot of people in retail can't scale because of cash consumption. And they've done it. And
So
how
it's
you
all
do it,
kind-
you know, for example, for want of a better term, the old trading businesses, right, of all the communities, they would do it just basically the founder sitting there and counting cash. That cannot happen in the modern world.
No, if you want a retail chain, you cannot be sitting behind the cash counter. So we decided that from day one, we didn't want that way. We wanted it to be a retail chain. So we put systems in place. So we have managers running every single store. We have India managers who control the managers. So that structure is well in place. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Now, open answer to the question.
That's it, or was there anything else?
That's it.
Yeah.
But pretty much, retail also
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be very proactive if it's a retail business. You have to chop, change the inventory, you have to keep it very, very dynamic. You have to keep the seasonal in mind. You have to. So it's a very different ball game altogether compared to an online thing, but it has its own benefits.
So, I was supposed to mention about the people work mostly back.
Sorry, about the
Women
People
role
work mostly back.
Yeah.
And generally in the higher rated space, it's easy for them to hire and fire retail workforce, especially in the textile industry. It's easy for them to hire and
Oh,
fire.
yeah.
But in your case, saving them that much and then firing them is useless.
Yes.
So I wanted to understand how you try to predict, how you try to tackle that.
So yeah, I mean, probably the biggest challenge was during pandemic. Since we are a labor-intensive business on all fronts, on the retail front, in the back end thing, we are very labor-intensive. So it was definitely a huge challenge. So I don't say it's a smooth ride. It's never a smooth ride. So you are always, I mean, since being bootstrapped, it's a smooth ride. It's never a smooth ride. So you are always, I mean, since being bootstrapped, the cash challenge is always very high. But that is when you become more innovative.
Okay.
That is exactly when you become more innovative. Trying to arrange that is the whole thing altogether. It's very challenging, but worthwhile. So you will discover so many things that, yeah, you will never go down that path again.
Hi, I'm Rashmi. I'm a student here and I'm also one of the co-founders of Vibha. So I have two questions for both of you. So for you, I know you have an online store and also on Amazon and other places as well. So how are the sales compared to retail stores versus online? And is there ever a future where retail stores maybe wouldn't exist or decrease in number? And for you, I know you mentioned that you want to go behind influencer marketing or some of the most famous marketing methods that millennials seem to go behind. So how do you get new customers on your platform? Or what kind of streams do you use to generate new customers or to create awareness about your product?
So yeah.
Okay. So it's not that we don't do influencer marketing. We do it, but I think just, I mean, because this is such a practical session and like because it's such a small group of people, I feel like it's very important to be relevant. And me being relevant is me saying that what used to work 2 years ago doesn't really work. So, you know, the kind of person you reach out to before and try to, like target their audience and try to work with them and collaborate, it really isn't the same conversation anymore. And I feel like now it's about us being our own influencers. I think it's about each brand building their own voice, and people are now fans of brands before you be fans of people. And while yes, of course, people and collaborations are still very important, you'll see that now we are moving into a space of actually collaborating with other brands. Like you'll see that now we are moving into a space of actually collaborating with other brands. Like we wanted to work with brands who are also like personalities. And so I'm not saying it doesn't work, I'm just saying being extremely relevant, like as of March 2022, influencer as people, marketing with people, it's just much more harder strategically than it used to be. And working with fellow brands has become a lot easier. And just building your own brand personality and telling your story, making the founder of the brand itself a storyteller, these are the things that can potentially make a huge difference. So I think that's pretty much what I mean.
Great. You want to add something?
Yeah, in our
Keep your
case,
questions ready. Okay?
yeah. So in our case, we started out as a retail store. So when you start out as a retail store, people don't see you as an online store, not as much. So there are repeat customers that come on to our online platform, and we keep acquiring new customers through our social media, through our Insta, which is really growing. We get a lot of people from there. But then this online and marketplace, probably I think maybe 30% of our business. We do know there's a huge growth potential there, but we are now making a conscious effort. Initially, it was a conscious decision. We have around 15,000 SKUs, so it's a very SKU intensive business. But we always believe that the harder the business is, the lesser the competition. So if it's easy, you'll have thousands of competitors. So that's always there. So it was a conscious decision not to put out too many products on Amazon because we wanted to keep the identity. You know,
That's
it's a bit
perhaps homework. Was why do you lose out on margins in a marketplace?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. You
Why do you lose out on margins in a marketplace?
You sacrifice 35% to 40% on marketplaces, which is huge. So you don't make money when you're doing it on marketplace, but it's the visibility. You get visibility when you do that, and you hope people will come back to you later through the marketplace. So so if you start out as a D2C, then yes, it's different. People see you as an online platform, but in our case, because we started out as a retail store, we get more people to our brick and mortar because of the touch and feel and the engagement that they get in the store, the experience. So, they just don't go back. And we have heard stories when parents say, we don't go in front of your store, I take the route at the back of the store. So we hear all these stories, and which is great. I think that's your thing. Yeah.
Any other questions? There's a question there. Okay, Mr. Malaka. He's he heads the CIE.
It was wonderful listening to you, and such amazing stories. That's what we are very interested in letting our students hear. So thanks a lot for joining us over here. A question for all the budding entrepreneurs over here. So what are the tips you want to give them about how to catch the pulse of a customer? How do you let them not get discouraged by any drawbacks that they may have? Any tips that you can give? Because all of them are budding entrepreneurs over here.
So, not get discouraged by failures. Yeah, we are a classic case. We started a retail store in Sydney that failed miserably. It was really bad. So from that we learned what location, how not to what place you shouldn't open a store. You learn from your mistakes, you learn what not to do. So then when we came here, when we started the very first order that we shipped to, the customer went bankrupt in Australia.
And it was a large order.
So it was a large order. So we had invested, we had sold a house, invested here. So, but then you learn a lot from your failures. So it makes you tougher. So I think there's a lot to be learned from failures. And as far as the customer is concerned, I think you have to listen to your customer. We have today fine-tuned our range. We have, we keep bringing new products all the time based on the feedback from the customer. You have to listen to your customer. Only they can tell you what you want. You can't just put out something and expect them to buy it. You have to keep listening to them, fine-tuning it based on their feedback. I think that interaction has to happen all the time, whether it's an online platform or offline. Listen to your customer. That's the thing.
How many of us would actually sell their houses to back their business, right? It's businesses risk in the end of the day and take calculated risks. And that's the bottom line of it. There's another question there.
Hi, I'm Sachin, and
Sachin.
it was wonderful listening to you guys. My question is a little more targeted towards Vibha because of the online presence that you guys have. I wanted to know how important it is to use modes of engagement like memes and things like that.
Oh, do you use me? I should have asked that question. These Frizzle guys use me.
And I think they're doing a great job.
Yeah. You guys use memes?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm too old with them, but my team comes up with their own college as well, so they come up with great memes. But yeah, no, it's super important, and where I find memes super important is to explain tough concepts. So if I wanted to explain to you the connection between the liver and your skin, I would use a meme. So it's just that it catches your attention. I feel like people no longer like to read, but if I put up yeah, on our Instagram, okay. But yeah, I keep using little, if I want to explain to you how to de-stress after a tiring day, and I use complicated words like cortisol and melatonin, I would just cute little dog sleeping, falling asleep with, its saliva falling out, and you'd actually look at that and you'd be like, oh, what is this? What am I seeing on my feed? And then, we have those little words there, and then you go into the caption and you read it further. It's just also easier than making a reel, and those are the only two things that work, honestly. So it's just, yeah.
But do you measure these? Is there an ROI on these? Or is it just to build brand awareness?
It's to build. I've had this conversation with a couple of people who asked me these questions in the past, and I would say it's largely to. I think sometimes in content creation you have to give without expecting, and if you try to get an ROI on every single piece of content you create, you won't create wholeheartedly. I think, and you won't educate. As a challenge, I've had different phases of
That's
content
really
creation.
funny as a content creator. Thank you.
So I think I've had phases, tried this for 6 months, tried that for 6 months, and I feel like if you give, it will come back. Like you get the returns when you need it, and say you launch a new product, we get sold out within minutes of selling launching
What's
a
your
product.
CAC?
Um,
CAC and profitability. Track that. Customer acquisition cost.
Yeah.
Is it 10 months? You spend 10 months to acquire a customer, and then the repeat purchase is becoming profit.
10 months to get a customer.
I'm asking how many months you spend to become a monthly basis spend to acquire a customer?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even have to sometimes get acquired. You have to spend months together.
Yeah.
Because the software is.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
The
That
software is a
question
word
was
I
hard, yeah.
usually word.
Yeah, I know.
Spend for 10 months.
Yeah.
And then after 10 months, the repeat.
Yeah.
Become profit.
For
But
sure.
your case, how does it work?
It's very fast. It's so dynamic. I get a customer, but lose a customer also within minutes. It's all very fast.
And the repeats are much on an average in the people.
In ours, we see an average of, as of today, being around for 2 years, we see 3.5 purchases as an average for us.
Okay, on a yearly and monthly basis.
Lifetime.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. The lifetime is what? I mean, product is a big sachet or big.
Yeah, it's a once in 2 months buy.
It's like 3 times a year product. 3, 4
You
times.
can say,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Next question, please. Yeah, right. Okay, but those of you who hang around have got goodies, man. They're kind enough to bring goodies.
Okay, so it's about the D2C market. Both of you are trying to tap into that moment, and you're fully in the D2C market, right? So, what do you think happens to be one of the biggest costs of, let's say, a D2C market as such? Because, like you said, user acquisition, I assume that would be your biggest cost as such, and I think 60% is something that's what you end up spending on user acquisition. And how do you ensure retention? What are your other big costs? Rahul Srinivas. I'm a third-year engineering student at DS.
And you're a founder?
Yes, I'm also founder of Cosmix.
Please, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, pass my question. Okay, hold on.
So very interesting is you started for the summer.
So we started off in COVID. So the idea was not to make it into a business, but it ended up being there. So essentially, it started off as it's a coding assignment submission and evaluation platform. Most of the computer science students here, we have lots of issues with respect to coding assignments. So during COVID, the submission process for students was a really major pain, right? So and for teachers, if you have to evaluate assignments on an everyday basis, that could take roughly 2 to 3 hours for nothing, right? You're not really gaining anything out of it. So essentially what we wanted to do, we wanted to solve a problem that peers and teachers are facing. And eventually we went ahead to be one of the winners of Cisco's Incubator Initiative with one of the top 10 teams in the country. So that's what we did.
And how many startups here raised 200K?
Just adding to what Rahul said, so we have 4 teams from PS, among the top 10 from all over the country for the Cisco Incubator. I joined PS about 3 years back, and it's really impressive the kind of the smart people around over here. Lots of great ideas coming in, and I hope you guys keep coming up with great ideas. So just want to add what Rahul said.
Thank you. So yeah, back to the profitability question. You can't avoid that. Customer acquisition profitability. That was your original question.
Yes, and how to ensure retention, because acquisition is one thing, retention is an entirely different thing. How is it that you do retention? Because you mentioned you were 50% in the beginning of this process.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely product quality, but I mean we all know that, right? Like we all know product quality. And as I said, I feel like it's very rare you can have a unique product for a really long time in the market. And I feel like eventually you move on and others will get it as well. But I feel like, at least for me, what's made a huge difference, and I feel like a lot of brands I've seen or spoken to, is aligning with the value of your audience. And do you guys know under 25?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something that's there. The one,
So Shreyans is my friend, the founder, and what he built is the cool factor, right? So college students want cool, and he built it out for that. My audience is 99% female. Yesterday we took a survey, 99% female, and I never intended to build a brand like that, but the values we built it around were honesty, body positivity, and women were sick and tired of people not giving that to them, and therefore they move towards our brand. And I feel like again it's the value system. So the more and more I live up to the values that my audience cares about, then that's where they'll go. Again, like the under 25, cool is the word, right? You build out more and more cool products, use cool words, use cool graphics, have cool events. More students will move towards it, and I feel like that's what you have to build. So you build for that audience, but it's more of a character than the product itself. So I feel like you'll have to really, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's humor that does the job, and people move towards that. Sometimes it's science and knowledge that people value and they move towards that. So I feel like you have to build for that audience and also select a small audience at least to begin with. So for your product, you have to go I want like geeks to be my audience. And then we kind of build out like a personality and a tone of voice that they appreciate so much. Like even to use your service, there should be a little code they have to crack. And then it gets super exciting because they tell their friends who are also geeks that, you know, do this service and you should try it out. And like the more codes you like, whatever, do something and you'll get some points. So, you know, like it's kind of like that. I need to build on what they love. And
That increases retention.
that increases retention.
Any more questions, guys?
Hi, I'm Shifali. So my question is, I have two questions actually. So you started off as a homeopathic doctor, and you are an engineer, and both of you have started something very different from your field, your field of study. So how did that happen? What interested you in crafts and art, and you in superfoods and beauty and all of that?
Keep an open mind. That's the answer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, probably going with the flow. So we moved countries, right? So I practiced for some time, but then there were certain restrictions in Australia, and I worked in different areas. So I think as long as you're open to it, and there's always something that you can add from your whatever you have learned. So I think every job that you do adds to what you are doing today. There's something good that you learn from everything. So it's no hang-ups. You just go with the flow, and it's fine. Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions, guys? No. Are we done? Are you guys looking for the goodie bags? Okay, firstly, I want to thank Suresh. He's not here. Suresh, obviously, founder of Co-Create Ventures and Pebble. I want to thank Madhukar for arranging everybody here. Thank you. I don't want to forget the Itsy people here. We're going to make it a regular affair. We're going to collaborate. We're going to do a great job in this university. Bring the world to this university. So let's do it together, okay? Thank you. And an round of applause to these. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any more questions? You can swarm them later on. By the way, Itsy Bitsy is also, they're also the names of your dogs. There you go. And by the way, one more fact. Rashmi is a mom to and mother to her. She's a daughter. It's a mother and daughter combination. No, that is a secret.
I didn't read you.
We were right.
I kept that a secret. But lovely. So yeah, I think so. So I think you look like Harish, but listen. So Cosmix.in is the website, guys. You want to be super fit, super healthy, super beautiful and handsome. Cosmix.in, and all of you know Itsy Bitsy. Take your asses to the store.
Shall I ask you?
Great audience, so much fun, lot of interaction, and all the best to you. Thank you.
Excuse me, there's one last question.
Okay, go for it, Zach.
He actually thanked all of us, and I actually want to thank him because he was talking about the entire session, and the entire time he was telling about how he actually wanted to build a community and actually learn, and students who wanted to learn from these sessions. So I think that's why.
Oh, I think I'm glad I brought all of you together. Thank you so much.
Great,
Thank you. More to come every week. Thank you so much. All gone.
I just have a couple of last words for me. So basically, thanks to the e-cells, we have a vibrant, very vibrant e-cell over here, and involving a lot of students over here. So thanks to all of you to be part of it. Vishal,
Thank you.
Amrita said, great that you can.
Thank you.
So these are the journeys that we try to get people to talk about, and that's what we tell our students when we are.
Lovely. And you guys online, follow us, follow the Itsy in PS, follow Pebble, buy Co-Create, and follow the Center of Innovation at PS University. Visit us, guys. Thank you. Right. Okay. And who's going to give the goodie bags? You guys land here? Pebble, buy Co-Create, and BBL are funding everybody 200K. $200,000. That is, we have Frizzle that's raised money from them. We have Jeevan out that's raised money from them. We have the lovely fond members there, and you should check them out. And if any entrepreneur wants to meet them, we can do a 5-minute session with them inside. Okay? So follow Pebble anyway. It's part of, and ESL and CI is the same thing. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Okay.
So yeah, you can all get creative with the goodie bag.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Guys, before you go, can you take one look at this? We are taking a picture.
Yeah.
All right.